Every year, every month, every weekend, the British public do what they do best: drink.
She says she'd only had a few drinks, but had little memory of what happened.
You've been noisy.
Our breathing's getting a little bit hectic. The mouth's going as well. Can you hear a crying
Investigating. We take all reports seriously, and we would encourage anyone who believes they have been a victim of spiking in any form to contact the police.
Are you seriously gonna leave like this?
According to research, 54% of adults in England consumed alcohol within the last week. "37% of men and 19% of women aged 45 to 65 said they drank over the recommended weekly limit. Only 11% of women and 19% of men aged 16 to 24 admitted to drinking over the weekly limit.
Surprisingly, people aged 16 to 24 reported drinking less, with only 2% of both women and men saying they drank on 5 or more days over the past week. So, if it's the younger generation that drinks less, and women drinking even less than men, why does it look like the majority of victims are women, and why is nothing being done about it?
My name's Davy Lee Hutchinson. I'm 22 years old, and I was 20 years old when I was spiked in Sunderland. It was a friend from college who I was going out with, and we'd been together like in the afternoon with her son, and then she was like, "Do you fancy a few drinks on the night?" So I went home and I got ready, and then we met at Hadrian's TP. I wasn't pre-drinking or anything. It wasn't really meant to be a night out, it was more just a few drinks.
Hello, I'm Chloe. So I was out for my friend's night out. It was her birthday, so it'd been planned quite a while. And we had this VIP table booked at a club. So we got ready beforehand, had a few drinks. I think I only had one drink at the pre-drinks before we went out.
A new survey conducted in 2021 shows that 1 in 9 women said they have been a target of drink spiking. Including the people they know, such as family and friends, a total of 1 in 3 women said they either known someone or have themselves been a victim of drink spiking.
Compare this to 1 in 5 of men, who also reported that they either know someone who've been spiked or have been spiked themselves. It still seems like the majority of victims are in fact women. This data shows that a shocking 2 in 5 of young people aged 18 to 24 have either been a target of spiking or knows a victim in their social circle.
We didn't really want to leave and go home. We kind of wanted to continue the night. There was a guy who worked behind the bar who I was quite close to. He was my friend, and most nights, if we'd been out late enough, we used to always end up in 7, but we ended up going there early because we didn't really fancy going anywhere else. So yeah, we went in there to see him and have a drink, I think.
And then when we got there was a table, and we had a few bottles on the table. There was confetti. It was just a standard VIP night out. But the VIP in this club was far away from the dance floor, so we never left the table alone. One of us or 2 of us always stayed at the table.
The drugs normally kick in 15 to 20 minutes after you've consumed them, and depending on what you've been given, you could feel severely drunk, have blurred vision, tired, start hallucinating, become paranoid, and most commonly,
I just completely blacked out. I was at the bar with my friend and I needed the toilet, so I asked him to guard my drink. And then when I came back, I'd continued drinking then. That was like the last point I think I remember being in 7.
I got told that I got found in a different VIP booth to the one that I was in, and that the bouncers were trying to find out my name for like an hour and I couldn't speak to any other bouncers. And then after like an hour my friends found me, so I don't know what happened in between my friends not being there and me being found in a different VIP booth, but the night was just ruined after that and I can't really remember anything about it.
you remember after drinking the drink?
Waking up in hospital. I was really disorientated. I had in my mind that I'd been kidnapped and the nurses were holding us hostage. And then I had like obviously a drip in my arm and stuff, and I kept trying to rip it out because I had thought they were poisoning us. And there was no nurse on the wards, so I kept like shouting, trying to like get myself like home and try to leave, but I was convinced that I was being held captive. Afterwards I had a text from 2 girls on my phone once I'd like got myself home and sobered up and stuff, and I asked them who they were, and then they found us like unconscious outside of 7, that's how I'm guessing I got to the hospital because they rang the ambulance.
You don't need to be a genius to guess why women are the majority of victims, but the NHS state that theft and, for a laugh, are also amongst the reasons why you are likely to be spiked. Date rape drugs are the most common drug choice by attackers, but so are party drugs such as acid, LSD, ketamine and MDMA. These sort of party drugs are normally taken recreationally, meaning if someone is spiked with them, it could be seen as they are just trying to have a good time or they've taken too much, instead of being seen as an assault.
I do work in a nightclub, and like spiking is definitely a bigger thing than it used to be. One of our bottle girls was at work and she got spiked in the middle of the dance floor by injection. So we know that the spiking is definitely a big thing.
Hi, I'm Paige. I'm a nurse for the NHS and I've been a part of the ambulance crews working one of the UK's biggest freshers events. While at one of these events, we got a Cat 1 call for an unconscious victim with noisy breathing. Upon arrival, she was able to maintain her own airways and vitals were within range. We admitted her to the clinic to sober her up. She was as expected. Once she came round, she kept mentioning how something bad had happened. She also said she thinks she may have been sexually assaulted whilst she was passing out. We offered her a rape kit and to report it, but she was worried in case it actually didn't happen. She agreed to go to A&E, and that's the last I know of what happened to her.
Sadly, it seems a lot of the time spiking attacks are not taken seriously by the venue staff, police or even the NHS. In one survey, 41% of women don't think the police will take them seriously. However, 43% of men reported feeling that they would be taken seriously by the authorities, and only 38% felt that they would not be believed.
Unfortunately, because toxicology reports take ages due to having to be tested against other drugs, by the time the results come back, the patient is discharged.
I don't think they even inquired into what happened. They literally sent me home as pretty much as soon as they realised I was awake.
If someone thinks that they've been spiked in a nightclub, we have to take them into a private room. So like, we call it like the chill out zone or something like that. And we take them into a different part of the club. It's normally downstairs for us because we work in a big club. And we sit, if they've got a drink, we do the spike tests in them. The spike tests are a bit weird. Like, they bring up any sort of drug or anything in their drink. So like, we can't tell if they've put anything in their drink themselves, or if they don't have a drink, we can't be certain that they've been spiked. So we just have to sit with them.
If the results were to be discussed with the patient, it would take an appointment of a GP to have the patient come into their practice.
We normally ring the ambulance or like the police or something, but obviously in a busy city centre it can take time. So a lot of the time we will have to ring a taxi for the customer and get them there to go themselves. It's a difficult situation to be in because we don't actually know if somebody's been spiked or if they've just had too much to drink. So we have to take every situation seriously.
I went back the next day because I wasn't feeling very right. I kept feeling lightheaded, like I was going to pass out. I kept having panic attacks because I was really anxious about the fact that I couldn't remember anything. And then I got to A&E and they fobbed me off and told me that I was just drunk.
It's common not to have a toxicology report done.
If the authorities tended not to believe the victim is spiked, but rather suffering from self-inflicted intoxication, vital evidence and steps to protect the victim and arrest the perpetrator are lost. Many of these cases of assault go undocumented and unsolved.
This is actually your job. This is actually your job. No, I'm not. I'm filming right now because you're being security and you're supposed to help people, but now you're just standing there. You haven't even called anyone. Who have you called? No one. You ain't called no one. What's your name? What's your name? It don't matter, they got your face anyway. What's your name? It don't matter, they got your face anyway. What's your name? Why haven't you called it? Are you seriously gonna leave like this? Excuse me? Call the... During our 2 hours of waiting outside of the venue while my friend was spiked, neither did the police or an ambulance arrive. So we waited for our cab and left, but before we left, the guy was still lurking and stalking us, basically waiting for his chance to sweep her off and take her away or something, or do something that we don't really want to speak about. It's disgusting, but yeah, we decided to leave before any of that could happen. Spiking is becoming more and more common, and people need to be more aware of who they go out clubbing with or where they go out clubbing. This happened to my friend twice in less than a month at the same venue. So we think it's disgusting. It needs to stop, and I think clubs need to take more higher measures to deal with them sort of incidents.
We tried to contact our own student group at the University of Sunderland that organises nights out to talk about the steps they take to ensure the safety of its students. We also tried to contact the Club 7 mentioned in Davy's story and other local clubs to talk about their safety measures.
Do you feel safe drinking in town now?
Not at all. It's terrifying. It's just getting worse.
No, I don't feel safe drinking in town.
Bo or I do not feel comfortable going out clubbing or drinking again after this incident. It has really scared us, and we don't want it to happen to anyone else.